Yes, you are listening to the Ready, Set, Retire radio podcast with Steve Anzoni. My name is Jessica Forkel. Get more details on the website at fairwayfinancial.net. You know, when you hear about big numbers of what people have saved or what they think they need for retirement, it is easy to start feeling bad and that you don't measure up. And all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, I'm probably never going to be able to retire. Well, according to data from the Employee Benefit Research Institute, only 3%, guys, 3% of retirees have saved over $1 million. So put that in perspective here. That means a lot of folks out there are planning a successful retirement on a lot less. So, Steve, what's your message to someone that is listening who believes, oh, gosh, I'm never going to be able to retire. I haven't reached the $1 million mark or this magic number they have in their head?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the magic number. I'm more of a big fan of no debt. So if you haven't saved $1 million, I mean, don't sit there and go, oh, I haven't saved $1 million. I can't retire. I can't do this. I can't do that. That's totally untrue. And I'll tell you a story in a minute about someone. But the measuring stick for retirement is to replace as much of your working income as you can and have as little debt as you can. And so take what's going on in our world right now. It's crazy, right? There's a lot of stuff flying. I mean, Donald Trump's in there and he's trying to do everything in 3 months, right? He's taken 4 years and he's trying to do it all in 3 months. And I mean, it's not going to happen, but he's certainly given it a go. But what if Social Security taxes were eliminated? My God, that would be, as the saying goes, I'm not a huge fan of the saying, but in this case, I am, a game changer, okay? Can you imagine people with $4,000 a month, let's say, Social Security, and it's 100% tax-free? Are you kidding me, Jess? By the way, it's the way it should be because we've already paid taxes on it. So it sounds like, oh, they're giving us this big gift. Oh, God bless the government and all this stuff. If this could happen, it would certainly change a lot of people's lives. And they'd go from Social Security is not enough to, hey, maybe I could do it with Social Security if, and the big if, I do not have debt. So if you're behind the 8 ball, which is obviously, according to this report, 97% of the population. So don't feel like you're alone. Here's what you should be doing. If you're in your 50s, bang in as much money as you can into that 401k. Okay, build it up as much as you possibly can. And, okay, a combination maybe of that and getting rid of your debt. Pay it down, pay it down, pay it down. Because, again, if you can go into retirement with just the regular bills, you know, the food, the utilities, and all that stuff, and not have other big debts, no mortgages particularly, you're going to be in much, much better shape than, say, somebody with, I don't know, like $1 million and a $4,000 a month mortgage with 20 years to go. Think about that. I mean, that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's big.
So it's not just the pile. It's what you have done. Okay, here's a story. So I'm in a couple, man, I can't believe it. I don't remember from the radio show or whatever, but they came in, we had a long talk, and of course they come in with, oh, I don't know, I'm never going to retire, I'm going to have to work till I'm 90, ba, 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 ba. And I said, wait a minute. I said, relax, what do you got? What's going on? And it turns out they had about a little under 400 in their 401k. They were in their late 50s, so it wasn't awful. And I said, look, you've got some time here, and your mortgage is down. I mean, you only I think they owed 75, 80 grand on their mortgage. Not too bad. I said, you're not in as dire straits as you think you are, okay? The first thing you should do is to concentrate on, keep saving and doing what you're doing. They were doing a pretty good job putting money away because they realized they were behind. I said, but if you keep your debt down like you're doing, pay that mortgage down, by the time you're 67, and I use that number because they were born in 1964, I think, or 5. So their Social Security normal retirement was 67. I said, if you can do that, you'll be in pretty good shape. You'll pretty much have maybe a year or two left on your mortgage and a decent pile of money built up by then. We can create more cash flow other than your Social Security. And what I meant by that was taking a piece of their 401k and putting it into a guaranteed income annuity for both of them. So then when they were 67, the numbers were somewhere around, 4, 7, right around 28, 30 grand a year. So there was another 2,500 a month on top of it. So between Social Security and that, they were at around 7 grand a month. And considering that their household income now was around 100, that's not too far off. And if they don't have any debt, I mean, they're in okay shape. I mean, they're not going to be, traveling with the billionaires or anything like that, but who cares? They're going to be comfortable. They're going to be able to do a little bit of travel and enjoy themselves. So don't beat yourself up, okay? Please. I mean, the world can be very interesting, and there's all kinds of obstacles that can prevent us from getting to the $1 million mark or whatever number you want to put out there, right? Don't compare yourself to others, okay? Look at where you are today. Figure out what you control and do until you want to retire, and let's talk. Let's have a conversation about that. I can run you numbers, okay? I can show you roughly where you can be if you go down that path. It might help you. It certainly helped this couple. I mean, their spirits uplifted after that first meeting. They couldn't wait to get back in to see what I was going to do for them. And you could be in that position too. So why not? Be positive about it. And just be happy about what you've got, what you've saved. There's more to life than just the financial end. Like in my case, there's the grandkids, right? That's a huge part of our lives. And that's something that I want to share and see more of down the road. So look at all the pieces, and I can help you put it together. I will gladly give you a copy of my book, which, by the way, went over so huge at the workshop, because I said to them, hey, I have a limited supply of my books up here, and if you guys ask really good questions, I'll give you one. Turns out I ran out of books.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
The girls were like, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. They
educating
come up with
the people. That's what we're doing.
Well, they were educating me by the end. Some of these questions were fantastic. But I'm just saying, folks, look, don't listen to all the noise out there. Look at your situation now. And by the way, you know what you could do better. We all know this. Deep down, hey, I could save a little bit more, and I can do this and I can do that. I will help you with that. I will guide you with that. And some of us just need a little push. That's all.
No, exactly.
So that's what I'm here for. I've been doing this a long time. I can help you. Don't panic and don't think, oh, my God, I'm not going to hit the $1 million mark. I'm never going to retire, blah, blah, blah. Not true. It can happen. I can help you.
It is not unusual to see Elon Musk, his name hitting headlines left and right. He's done it again. Of course, billionaire Elon Musk turning heads in more ways than one. Not only is he hunting for government waste, we know he's the head of DOGE, right? The Department of Government Efficiency. He also told the Joe Rogan podcast that Social Security is not sustainable. Listen to this.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Well, people pay into Social Security and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. Like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Basically, people are living way longer than expected. So you have more people who are retired that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligation, so however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future.
All right, well, let's break this down here. I mean, Musk is comparing Social Security to a Ponzi scheme. It does sound extreme. Ponzi schemes are illegal, obviously. Social Security not. So it does highlight a solvency issue, which, Steve, you and I have talked about multiple times here. Of course, it estimates benefits could be cut 25% by 2033 if Congress does nothing to kind of shore it up a little bit. So if Social Security becomes less reliable, are there different strategies? What can we do to fill in that gap there?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. By the way, he's not the only billionaire who said that. I mean, Warren Buffett said it back in 2005. So let's not totally beat him up. I mean, he's certainly the target for being picked on right now, and I get it. He's certainly not shy with his words. Sounds like another gentleman in office, doesn't it? But, sometimes being blunt helps. It puts things in perspective. It lets you know where you stand. He's not wrong. I mean, if you think about it, and the reason he compared it to a Ponzi scheme is because a Ponzi scheme is taking someone else's money, putting it somewhere else, and not having the money to replace it. That's generally what it is. So he's not totally wrong. And remember, when Social Security came out, it was during a very desperate time in our country. And it was right after the Great Depression. I mean, it was, you talk about people being down. And President Roosevelt came out and said, we are going to protect your future retirement. We're going to set up this Social Security so that everybody can be secure in retirement. Now, what an amazing thought. I mean, on its face, it sounds unbelievable. Government's going to take care of us. That should have been the first warning sign. And the way they were going to do is, of course, they take money out of our check. And back then it was supposed to be voluntary, and it was a very small amount, and it grew over the years. But the problem is exactly what Elon said. There's too many people taking money from a system that doesn't have the money to pay it, and it's only going to get worse in the future. So in other words, this program is subsidized and has been from day one. We didn't see it from day one because when it was new, it was overfunded. I mean, my gosh, there were hundreds of billions of dollars in there. And most people worked and worked and worked, and when they retired, they died. I mean, remember, in 1935, life expectancy was 65.
Yeah.
And the first day you're supposed to collect your check was 65. So you think about it, wow. So today it's expanded, of course, and, the incomes have gone up and there's more going in. And if you're self-employed like me, you have to pay double into the system. It's very stressed out. And I get it. And he's not wrong. We've just ignored it for a very long time. It's not going to go away because it cannot go away. It will affect too many people's financial futures. We cannot have that in our country. Will it be capped? Probably. Will it be changed? Yeah, probably. And what can you do to subsidize it? Oh my gosh, there's so many things that you can do that's at our fingertips that is more secure, more guaranteed. And think about that. You're using your own money now anyway into Social Security. Why not take a piece of your hard-earned 401k monies that you've been saving and saving and saving, okay, or IRAs if you have that too? Why not consider moving a piece of that into your own personal income plan, your own personal pension, for lack of a better word, in quotes, okay? Because it's technically not a pension plan. It's an annuity, which, again, technically pension plans are annuities, but these are privately owned ones. These are ones that you can do without having to work for a big employer. And so, as an example, let's say you have $500,000 in your 401k and you say, hey, I want some more security in the future, but I want my own security, not social security. I want my own check for myself and my spouse. So you take 200, and let's just say you're 60 and your goal is to retire at 67. So you're going to defer it for 7 years. So watch this. There are some companies out there who will pay up to, this is as high as I've seen it, 12% a year guaranteed. So I don't know about you out there, but I ain't getting 12 guaranteed anywhere other than this product.
Yeah.
So these companies, generally speaking, it's anywhere between 7 and 12. And 12 necessarily isn't the best, although it sounds it, because there's another piece to this. So your money will grow. So if you put in 200, 7 years from now, it's going to be double. It's going to be worth over 400. And then it's going to pay you a guaranteed check. So at age 67, most of these companies out there will pay you roughly 6.5% to 7% of the pile of money. So on 400, let's say that's $28,000 a year, guaranteed for the rest of your lives, even if the original 200 you put in runs out. Now, you cannot obviously do that with a 401k, can you? Right?
Right, yeah.
Here, the company is taking all that risk that you're going to live very, very long. And you want to hear a client story. This gentleman came in yesterday, did a review of one of his annuities. And he goes, Steve, he goes, my goal is to live to 92. He goes, because I ran the numbers. And he goes, and at that point, I beat the insurance company. And I cracked up. And then this guy took the time to sit there and calculate all these crazy numbers. And, of course, he was a little older. That's why he needed to wait till 92. But I just laughed. I said, you know what? That's a hell of a goal. And I said, I hope you get there, and I hope I'm here to watch that. But he was kind of not kidding. I mean, he wanted that check, his life and his wife's life, and as long as he could take it. So that's my point is, look, don't sit there and have one bucket of money on a wing and a prayer. Okay, that is not a good way to retire with any greater peace of mind, all right? It's just all you're relying on there is a Social Security check. And whether it's tax-free or not, if they cut it by 25%, if it's tax-free at that point, there goes your gain. Do something about it. Be proactive. There are products out there. Now, you may not have heard them, or you may have gotten misinformation about them from people who don't offer them. Don't sit there and be one of those people who takes it for granted. Do the fact. Find out yourself. Get your own numbers. See for yourself if it makes sense. Don't rely on anybody else. So find out for yourself by calling 508-552-3230, okay? And this can be your own security, your annuity security plan, as opposed to Social Security, your own personal plan that you can control and that's guaranteed. The government won't mess with it, okay? It's your plan.
Get more details on the website, fairwayfinancial.net. That's fairwayfinancial.net.
Steve Anzoni is a licensed insurance provider by the Division of Insurance and is not registered as an investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve Anzoni, Massachusetts Insurance License 3851053. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Anzoni is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Anzoni is licensed in your state, please call 508-398-3337.